got some thermal paste here. This is called Pro Series. It lasts for 15 years as thermal paste. That's pretty good. It's enamel safe, so if you were to accidentally put this on your teeth, then it's probably safe. It's actually not enamel. I mean, it doesn't matter. Now, the correct way to apply toothpaste is to do a little pea size in the middle. A lot of people go with the X shape, but the truth is you're going to see very minimal gains with toothpaste. So what I got here is some cheapo graphics card. You should be able to see. If anything, that's dust or mold or something growing on there. It's got some nice ports, and I did use it for a couple projects where I didn't have a iGPU, but unfortunately this HDMI, it's not really good for anything. I have a feeling it's limited to 1080p. This one might be able to do 1440p, but I'm not sure if it does 60. If it does do 60, it doesn't do it well, I can tell you that. But it does have this nifty looking sort of heatsink on it. Now what I'm going to try to do, well, is put it on a CPU, put it on a motherboard. I've lost my Intel heatsinks, so what I'm going to try to do is put this one on there. Probably end up using cable ties. As I take it apart, I'm going to have a look at the board and see if I can identify anything interesting. Probably not. If you see right here already, these are some RAM modules just over here, and they've got no connection at all to the heatsink. So you know this thing is a high-performing computer. All right. Basically, the idea is to put this pretty low wattage heatsink onto a CPU cooler and then just test the temps. That's all. I have a feeling this runs just off the rail, and by feeling I mean it does, which means it can draw a maximum of 75 watts. I doubt it uses all 75 of those. My guess would be more around 30 or so, given it's passively cooled. And then the CPU I'm dealing with probably, I think it's a 6500. So should be able to get it to run under about 65 watts generally. So maybe this plus some fans could work. Though I should mention these fins, the way they're arrayed, are made for natural convection, and they're quite thick as well. So they're not going to be the absolute best for dissipating heat with a fan. But if we're talking about low wattages, I mean, that's one of the things with all this computer stuff. We're often talking about stuff that's not that high performance, so it doesn't really matter. All right, well, just going to get ready and do that. Anyways, whoop, so as I'm going, I'm just going to talk about some stuff I've been thinking of. You know, it occurs to me, I've been looking at a lot of like motivational YouTube videos, and they all kind of have the same message. And so I thought for a bit, I guess cynically, that that's a bad thing. You know, you can get stuck in this rut where you end up watching and watching and watching, and then you end up not actually doing anything. They say, and I learned this from those YouTube videos, that if you tell someone your plans, the chance of you actually completing those plans goes down. The theory behind it's something like you get a similar dopamine rush or other endorphins or whatever hits you. The good chemicals. When you tell someone about a plan, especially if you get their approval, and when you actually go about doing the thing, which unfortunately means that whatever chemicals you were thinking on relying on to actually do that thing, they're not going to be there for you. I mean, that's interesting, but I think it's a bit of BS. Oh, this is cool. So anyway, here's our heatsink. That's actually the only part I want from this project. You can see these rubber standoffs. They're not particularly nice. I don't know if I need those. And this little spacer here. Don't know why that's there. Oh, got the old annoying dog. All right. So as all good engineers, I'm going to use a bit of hand sanitizer to clean this. This is about, I guess, 20% what I want, which is alcohol, and about 80% what I don't want. Aloe vera extract. That's all right. It'll work to dissolve. Just unlike normal isopropyl, which will just go off by itself. This won't. Now, that's really on there. It's not dissolving that heat. Thermal paste. That's what it is. You know, I did this once before and it did work, but that thermal paste, as I feel it now, that's on something fierce. Can't even get it off with my fingernail. It's like I got a clothes peg. give that a go. And I am being semi-serious. This is actually rounded on the edge, so we'll scrape a little bit. It's not going to do too much damage. We're not going to get super deep grooves at a level 6. Not too bad. It actually feels smooth. That might be a good sign. I have a feeling that this is actually a painted part. Is that anodized aluminium or just painted aluminium? Anyway, feels good to me. Secret to a good workspace is cleanliness. And secret to cleanliness is having toilet paper nearby. All right, let's have a look what we got here. Now, I won't try to take this toothpaste off too much, but you might be able to identify what it is from those numbers. Let's have a look here. Oh, what are we looking at? It's definitely an NVIDIA. Oh, this is like a scratchy. This is like doing a scratchy. All right, let's see. Have I got enough off yet? This is, of course, going to get recycled, so I'm not really worried about hitting those capacitors or resistors, whatever they are. So what do we got here? It's an NVIDIA. This is Taiwan. Let's see if I can go any closer. GT 218300B1 12. See, if this is one of the more newer ones, actually, no, I shouldn't say it, but like maybe around the 20 series, I do have a little bit of knowledge about that stuff. It's got some nice caps here. Like these capacitors aren't too bad. They look nice. It's power management. That's your RAM. Weirdly, I think this is actually like a 1 gig model. So to have 4 RAM sticks, or 4 RAM chips rather, it's pretty interesting. What company is it? It's none of your business. I do like how they got all these little things here. You know, I don't think a human ever designs these. I think they design like a map, and then they press a button, and the computer goes and compresses it all, so you can get these nice highways. Kind of beautiful, really. All right, looking at the back. Looking at the back. I'm sorry, but that's all I got for you. That's your fate. It's all over. I will say this thing's pretty cool. So I think this metal bit here, this covering, this face piece, I guess, can be replaced with one that's only 2 slots wide to fit in a smaller machine. But then you would lose out on this VGA port. I can't exit at that side. Oh, let's see if I can get it off this side. Yeah, I can. And the VGA runs through some pins. That's actually pretty interesting. So I might find that some board I have, some motherboard might actually have a VGA out that's not been installed. And then, yeah, you know what? This could be useful. I'll keep this in my recycle bin, just in case. Now, why would I want a VGA out? All right, get to the donor. Not the donor, the board I'm experimenting with today. All right, here's what I got today. It's got an i3-6100, so that's a dual core. I think this is the first CPU I bought with my own money, as opposed to getting sweet deals off friends or inheriting or something like that. But I bought this one new, and I built it myself, and I was very proud of myself. And I'd say within about 1 year, dual cores became pretty shit. I remember I had a decent graphics card. It's like a 770 or something, and yeah, it was struggling with Witcher 3, which came out shortly after, around that era. This is a power plug. I'm actually not going to undo that. I just thought better, but this is pretty cool. This motherboard is what we call a piece of junk, and I got it out of one of those office deals you can get where you buy the whole thing for like $50 online posted, basically giving it away for free, to be honest. It's not a bad board, so it's quite upgradable. The issue is this is actually a lower PCI. Oh, look at that. What does it say Thunderbolt for? That's some interesting stuff going on there. Ooh, USB-C. Well, this is getting fancier by the second. I'll have to do some research to see if any of that's just lies. But what we do have is these PCI slots. These ones would be for like your Wi-Fi, your Bluetooth, maybe even a sound card if you got problems with your head. And then this larger one running at a lower, I think this is 4 times 4. That can actually run a graphics card. Like, I shouldn't lie. Actually, that graphics card I had in my hand probably wouldn't do any better on the 16 than the 4. But here's a 16. 16 can still run modern graphics cards. But this is, I think this is what we call PCI 3. Tell me if I'm wrong. But at PCI 3, it's not considered the greatest. But it will be able to run basically everything. Even with a PCI 4 card, like the latest graphics cards supposedly run on PCI 4. They'll run on this just fine. You'll probably get like a 10%, 20% maximum difference. But there are brand new graphics cards that wouldn't be able to run on this, surprisingly. Because they would use half the bandwidth of the other one, which would be twice this one. Something like that. All right, so if I just measure these things up here, you should be able to see, here's my CPU, and here's my donor. And we'll just see if there's any orientation that doesn't hit those caps. Yeah, that kind of doesn't hit. Yeah, that doesn't hit at all, but it does touch the caps, and that's a bit worrying. Alright, let's try the other way. I might be able to do it that way. What do you think? Does that look professional? Let's try it like this. Now, what I'm finding is you see these little rubber standoffs? They're actually getting in the way. So I'm going to just remove those rubber standoffs. I'm sorry if anyone's crying. Maybe they wanted one of these. Maybe this is like a rare collector. And I'm like destroying it now. I had a, it was like a 8900 or something from, I don't know, 2007. And it apparently was worth a fair bit because it was weird. I probably destroyed that too. All right. So that's going to go on. Ooh, is that a good contact? That's pretty bad contact, to be honest. You can kind of, don't know if you can see. Yeah, I'll lift this up rather than move the camera. Yeah, you see that contact's not real good. It's hitting here. If I do that flat against the caps, there's almost a lifting, and I think it might be 1 millimeter higher on this one. If I go diagonally, yeah, that's, you can hear that. That's full contact. Diagonally this way. Yeah, it is full contact, but I'm getting in the way of these pins. And can I get full contact that way? No, I can't. So, very professional. I'm going to do it full contact this way. This is actually exactly what NVIDIA intended these to be used as, just in case you're wondering. Oh, and also if you're wondering why I'm doing this rather than not using some CPU cooler that I got hanging around, I do have CPU coolers hanging around. Let me see. I've got this beast of a CPU cooler hanging around. Oh god, it's dirty. Hang on, I'll hold it up. It's the same size as my head. I salvaged this with the idea that it might actually be a good enough air cooler. Turns out these little gaps here, I mean, maybe not with all the dust in them, but they're not that great for moving air. They are good for having a fan push air through, but the natural convection is not all that great. It does work as a thermal block. So actually it probably would work just fine on this computer. But then the width of the machine would be so high, you know? All right, so next thing I need is some cable ties. I'm not going to put the cable ties on straight away. I'm going to put some toothpaste. Got some thermal paste here. This is called Pro Series. It lasts for 15 years as thermal paste. That's pretty good. It's enamel safe, so if you were to accidentally put this on your teeth, then it's probably safe. It's actually not enamel. I mean, it doesn't matter. Now, the correct way to apply toothpaste is to do a little pea size in the middle. A lot of people go with the X shape, but the truth is you're going to see very minimal gains with toothpaste. All right, so that's probably good enough. Now, the reason the toothpaste is supposed to work as opposed to a thermal paste, where I don't really want to waste my money because all I got is some really expensive stuff at the moment. The reason toothpaste is supposed to work because it has like particles. I think the thermal properties of toothpaste are like 80% as good as thermal paste. What I don't think it will have is longevity, but we're just going to test it for this. So in theory, this should work. That or I've been horribly misguided by someone who told me that it would work. Alrighty, let's get this bad boy on. And I think we resolved to have it go this way. Oh yeah, you can feel that. That squish is nice. Alright, that's squished in. What I found was these little itty bitty baby ones. Now, again, secret is I clean workspace. But short of that, a dirty workspace. That'll work too. Nice. All right, so what I've done is I've connected two underneath to give it the length. And then I've stuck one head up and one tail up. Can you see? It's not too bad. And that seems all right. Let's see, how tight is that at the back? Yeah, it's nice and tight at the back. Let's give it one of these bad boys through this one. Alright, did that the wrong way, as is tradition. Oh, that's a promising sound. Alright, obviously the key to a good workspace is cleanliness, so instead of cutting those, I'm just gonna tuck them in. And got another one there. I reckon I could probably reach these two to each other. What do you reckon? Do it wrong. Do it wrong, do it wrong. Let's do that Drongo style. Alright. No, I had it right. Now I've got... Oh, shit. No. Secret is to only turn one of these at a time. Oh yeah, that's the nice noise. And is that on tight? Yeah, I think it is. Let me just put this one through there, maybe. Yeah, that looks like it's nice and tight. All right. Now, because I promised it, I didn't want to upset it, so I gave it one of these bad boys. I'm gonna run this through the old CPU fan. Gonna put that one like that. I'm gonna face this bad boy down, so those don't work. Who would have thought these itty bitty ones turn out to be a hell of a lot better? Anyway, I suppose I should have thought that. They're mine. And you get that beautiful noise. Alrighty, so this has an integrated GPU. How cool is that? Which means to run this bad boy, I won't really need anything. What I'm going to do, this is called a POS PCU. Let me just see if I can show you that. That's my POS PCU. It runs well. This is this little boy. Goes into the CPU socket up top. And this little boy and his friend. This is how you know it's a POS. This has got some bizarre outcomes, bizarre outputs. But, you know, it does actually work. So what am I going to complain about? Alrighty. Now, thermal test in this bad boy. Let me... Oh, looky loo. I need one of these bad boys. So I'm going to put that in there. And I'm going to power this without hopefully tripping a poo-poo valve. Now, you'll notice... Oh! You moron. My computer is very dumb. It should not have turned on by itself, but it did, which is very promising. So... Alright, moment of truth. Got some dramas. Post error. Alright, but that's not the worst drama I've ever seen. Go down here, go down to tools. Should be able to go to bench. Now I want to bench the processor by let's see, reference. Is it going to let me do so? I really doubt it's going to have a 60. Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't. Well, no, I'll verse this one too. E8500 dual core duo. Oh, let's do it. Bench it. Win already. My dual core powers. How are we going on those temps? You see we've got a cool 64. Well, yeah, so the single thread's not that much better, but the dual thread's about twice as good as a 2-core duo, which it should be because we're a good 6 generations later, to be honest. That's, you know, probably what I was hoping for. Yeah, not too great. Oh, what happens if I stress it? All right, let's leave the stress running for a while and see if my toothpaste is gonna work. Now, the idea behind stress is it should oh goodness, we're doing well. We should be able to max out the temps that the CPU is capable of using. Though I do have a lot of airflow in the room. Do you think I'll turn off the airflow in the room? How about that? Alrighty. So what I'll do is I'll just leave this running for a little bit and just see how it's going. See if it comes back. You know. It looks pretty good. Let's just do a very scientific wiggle. Yeah, look, it's hot, but it's not too much. Now the issue with these hang on, we'll go back down here. The issue with these coolers here, where they dissipate heat through airflow, like natural air convection, is once I put this computer inside a case, it might handle completely differently. But at the moment, we're still only peaking, at 70, and that is what we were just getting randomly. But the CPU is designed to be a pretty low end performer, and frankly, the air sink on it, the heat sink on it, which is supposed to only run on air, is designed to work without. So even though we're stressed at 70 degrees, I don't see any possibility of throttling at that. I mean, we're looking at, according to Hardware Unboxed or whatever the hell it is, we're looking at like 25 watts draw. I do actually have a power meter that could tell me the wattage draw of the whole system, but I doubt it's going to be too far off that. So to be honest, I'm curious what would happen if, someone would accidentally come along and unplug the old fan. What happens then? Oh god, this is why you can't unplug the fan. It gets bloody death grip. All right, so I've unplugged the fan. Now I'm going to look at those temps soar. I feel like I've been lied to my whole life. Why don't I just use Why don't I just use low-end processors and air coolers? This isn't so bad at all. Basically, we're here. Oh, 74. Oh, 75. We're still hitting 860 though. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if I set it up properly. We're just on air cooling at the moment, but we're hitting 860. Oh, 78. So I think for light tasks, this probably wouldn't even matter. To be honest, this is actually not too bad. 78 though. We're still at 860, so we're not seeing any thermal throttling. Thermal throttling is where the temperature gets a little bit higher and the CPU downgrades its performance a little bit in order to cool itself down. At the moment, I'm still running a stress test, so in theory, this is probably as bad as anything would get. I think you can run one with primes, and maybe that's what's going on in the background, but I think you can run one that actually endangers your CPU because it hits it so hard. But nah, you know what? Like, we've hit 80, not too bad. And we're still not hitting any sort of throttling. 81. Ooh. 82. 83. Ooh. Getting there. I'll just fast forward a bit. Ooh, we're going fast now. I can feel the air coming out of the heater. 89, 900. It's actually getting a higher score now that it's hotter. Oh, it's drawing a lot more. 26 watts. Starting to get over 100 degrees C. Oh, I don't like this. All right, I'm going to turn it off. So I turned it off and I plugged my friend back in. Yeah. So now we're going back down to 70, 69, 67. Oh, look at the drop of that temp. It's mental. Is that just an air cooler? Is that what an air cooler is capable of? Incredible. And you can hear the computer going down. Well, yes, I think that's actually fine. Janky as it is, toothpaste. Mighty fine application. Now I'll run that again in a week or so and then see what I feel about it. All right. Well, I'm going to unset up all this and see how that went.